What's up everybody? We're here for our first battle test. We have the beautiful new 6D
and the C300.
We're at ISO 12,800, which is unheard of and amazing.
Especially for the DSLRs. We'll see what the C300 and the 6D compare to.
And as you can see, we are unfortunately in the middle of a snowstorm right now, so we'll see how it goes. We've got a nice bit of cloud cover, and I have some faith in this guy, even though the price tag is probably like 10, what would you say, like 15 grand cheaper, somewhere around there?
It's probably like 9.
All right,
but this
good 9 grand
shoot a
separating.
C-Log, we'll see what the dynamic range changes.
Sounds good. And then we're on the Cine Styles picture style for this guy, so hopefully we get a pretty flat image as well.
See how it goes.
Sounds good.
All right. So to start, we're gonna be shooting into, let's see, we're shooting into traffic with a wide array of dynamic range behind it. Buildings with some windows that are lit, lots of corners of dark. So we're gonna see what the C300 does. Now the only issue with this is I'm on a monopod, so it's a little shakier than what the tripod 6D will be. But we'll see. I'm gonna do a quick pan up. I think it fares pretty well. Now let's see what the 6D got.
All right, I'm on the 6D here. We are at the same ISO that we were on the C300. The sad difference is I do not have a true 1/48th of a second shutter, so I'm at 1/50th of a second, but should be about the same. So I'm gonna do the same kind of test here. I'm gonna roll up and roll down. The thing you're gonna notice is, because this is the full frame 35mm still sensor size, everything's gonna be way wider than the C300 sensor. But you should kind of get the same idea. We're shooting pretty flat. I believe this is the flattest picture style out there, which is Cine Styles. And it's looking pretty good. Headlights are blowing pretty bad, and then also there's a couple of neon fluorescent signs up here that are gone. There's no hope for them. And I'm cold, so I'm shivering, so I apologize for the little bit of shakiness.
So I've stopped down to a 1/90th shutter. And shooting into these headlights, it seems to fare really well. I can see the dark windows. I can see the stop sign. Everything's really clean.
We are at our second test here, and again with the shutter speeds. What is up, Canon? I cannot go to a 90th of a second shutter, so I'm at, the two options were 80th or 100th, so we rounded up, I'm at 100th. It looks pretty good. Again, lights are blowing. The thing I'd say about the 6D, as in compared to, I've shot a lot with the 5D Mark II and also the 7D, is the roll-off from exposed to overexposed is a lot smoother. So you'll see, we'll point out some areas right by the sign here is totally blown out in the snow, but the transition from darkness to light is a lot smoother. It looks great. I still cannot believe that this is 12,800 ISO. Absolutely amazing.
All right, last but not least test. We got one more here. I have to stop down even more. This is probably the most in headlights we can get. And the snow will look amazing. All right, rolling. Right now we have a lot of snowflakes going in front of cars. This is actually really gorgeous. I am getting some light flicker.
We are on our final test, and unfortunately I'm getting the strobing of the lights too. The things I've noticed about shooting with the 6D that I had such high hopes for is moire and aliasing still present, not as bad, still there, and also rolling shutter, which I detest highly, is still present. But we knew we weren't going to get rid of that. The big improvements here are the roll-off from light to dark spaces, overexposed to non-overexposed. You can see there's some headlights coming down right now. They're definitely blowing out, but if you look right to the left of them, this weird picket fencey type thing, totally dark, totally underexposed, but still holding up nicely compared to that overexposed area. I'm not super loving the button setups here. The magnify button is all right. This knobby thing that kind of came from the 6DD, I don't totally like. I want my nub back that was on the 5D Mark II. It felt a lot more solid moving this thing around. The other thing that might be unique to my camera is my starting and stopping to roll for video. It feels a little bit touchy. I really have to push it in to start rolling. I mean, these are minor nitpicks, and again, totally worth the upgrade for the expanded ISO performance and noise reduction. Absolutely amazing, but there's just some little things that, you know, I'll keep holding out for the black magic, but we'll see if they ever ship, right? So that's our test. Let's see the winner. All right, so the moment we've all been waiting for. Looking at the images side by side, the first thing I'm seeing is that the C300 is significantly sharper than the 6D and also hanging on to the highlights of the signs much better. The thing that's really surprising me here is that the 6D has overall less noise in the image than the C300, especially in the underexposed areas. Now, both cameras are faring extremely well considering that we're at ISO 12,800, which is insane, but right now I've got to say the 6D is looking like it's going to beat out the C300 in this one. So scaling up the C300 to 200% and slowing it down, you can really see the noise in those shadows and underexposed areas. With the 6D, the noise isn't there. The image is still usable, which is incredible. Now, hold on to your butts, check this one out. When we blow up the 6D to 292% to match the crop factor, you can really tell the difference. All right, so we're going to do the same thing with test number 2. You can see the windows and the pole, the underexposed areas, much noisier in the C300. They are sharper on the C300, but the noise is just not there on the 6D. Whatever they're doing in camera to get rid of that is amazing. Again, we're at 12,800. When we blow them up to match the crop factor, look at the difference there. Those windows are a lot cleaner, a lot less noisy. In this third test, the street really shows it off. The whole street is underexposed, and the C300 just falls apart. Look at the 6D. It's not sharp, but it's not noisy. I would take that any day. So, I can't believe I'm going to say it, but it looks like the 6D is our new low-light king. That's not to say that the C300 is not a great camera, and I would definitely say it is a better camera than the 6D, but it's about knowing the right tool for the right job, and if you're in a really dark situation, the 6D can focus in the dark, it loves the dark, and looking at the tests, I can't believe I'm saying it, but it beats out the C300 in terms of how it performs at the highest ISOs.